know how long I've been looking for you.
Whew. What's going on, everybody?
I'm looking at my watch like, that was a long poop, dude.
No, I had no, I had a Wi-Fi background. They had trouble with the DVD player. It was.
No, I think
it was
you had
solid.
bunghole aggro.
I did not. Thank you very much. Thank you
We
very
thought you had a
much.
stroke. We thought you had a stroke on the pot. Thought
Nope.
you Elvised out on us.
Hope he flushed. Wow.
Of course not. No, he upper decker, dry
Lord.
docked it.
Oh, it's so good. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Loreseekers
Hey,
Live.
everyone.
We got all kinds of good people in here. Slashler, good to see you again, my friend. Oh, that
Welcome.
music was so
Welcome.
epic. Gone Crazy, Complete the Quest. I love that name. Depp is here. Pylon, D-Brand Droid, Pylon again. Oh, sorry. All kinds of good people. Prophetic Swine.
We got a new sub.
We did.
Dr. Dadglad, thank you very much, sir. That's awesome.
It's awesome. Thanks for the pride.
It's almost Daddy's Day, too. Yay, cheers.
Upper Tanker.
Yep, upper decker.
For the record, they were
The
watching.
best joke ever in the firehouse.
What's the name of that movie? Crap. The one where the senses. It's an animated movie. The five senses or whatever.
I don't watch those. I'm an adult.
I'm an adult too, and it's called Parent of a Young Child equals you've watched cartoons in their movies.
All right, I can't argue with that. You know what I was thinking? You know what I've been thinking of the whole week, bro?
Yeah. What?
Whenever we're talking about cloaks and ESO.
Oh.
I every single time I think about when I say no capes and you say, God, you've gotten fat.
God, you've gotten fat.
I've been thinking about that all week long. It's so funny.
It's hilarious.
Yeah.
Edna mode. Inside Out. Thank you. See?
Our
Hot day.
chat, our
Thanks,
chat
Dave.
is so much more cultured than we are. You and I, we're just a couple of dipshits.
Yeah, pretty much. Pip, good to see you. All right, everybody. Well, we got a show. We got a show and a half. This is meaty. This is like a 12-ounce steak.
Yeah. I Hate to tell you, but our lore lesson is formidable tonight.
We may get to mail. We're going to try to get to mail. We may have to hold that one. We don't know.
Yeah, it's a long episode.
All right, folks. Well, are you ready?
Yeah.
I
Yes,
am
sir.
ready. The crowd's ready. We're ready. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all
Hmm.
ages, welcome. What?
Are you recording?
Nope.
Ah,
Are you?
that's what I do. Yes, I'm recording. I have your back.
Yeah, my back. All right,
Yeah.
I'm recording. You said you are recording?
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, welcome, my good friends, one and all, to Loreseekers Live. Last week on Loreseekers. This is a very special episode, not only for Elsewhere, but other reasons, and I don't think Cash realizes why this day is so incredibly special,
Uh-oh.
but he'll find out later.
But at the same time, the amount of work that has gone into something like this, and then to see it manifest into a masterpiece, and they nailed it again with Elsewhere, pretty cool.
And I feel like for the first time, I am rediscovering this game, and it's just been a complete restart for me in so many ways.
Or can you say that again?
Afra.
Yeah.
Hail, traveler. Be wary in these lands, for the skies overhead darken with the shadows of dragons' wings. The undercrofts overflow with the rise of the dead. There is danger afoot across the whole of Elsewhere. Do you venture to brave these wilds? Then come inside, rest your well-traveled feet, and order up around. Share your tales with two of Tamriel's finest storytellers. Here they are now, the Loreseekers, Jibs and Cash.
A long work day.
Yeah. Yeah, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. You know what? Before I get to you, I need to get to her. I need a drink.
What can I get you, boys?
That should always be a thing. Before you get to a dude, you gotta get to her. It's okay.
I need a mead stout, please. What are you ordering?
I'm actually going different this week. I'm gonna go with a Tamrielic Old Fashioned.
Oh, look at you.
I know. I'm going out on a limb. Something a little sweeter this week because I've had an incredibly moon sugary week, my friend.
Well, that's freaking fantastic. How you been? I mean, it's, we just talked on the phone and pre-show, but how you been?
Really, really good.
Yeah.
Just a great week, man. I dove into Elsewhere, like pretty much everything I can do in Elsewhere. I've is it dove or dived?
You dove into Elsewhere?
Yeah, that.
Yeah.
And I'm just having a blast with it. This has been a very big production week for you and I. We just have a lot of stuff going on with the show and making sure that we're putting together the best quality content. So, yeah, there's been a lot of editing and recording and
Oh yeah, man.
kind of behind the scenes stuff this week. But you know what? If we hated it, we would not be doing it. And I actually got a really funny joke from my wife this week.
Okay.
She was totally joking.
Do tell.
My wife goes like this. She says, "Well, so what are you doing? What are you doing at the end of the week?" And I said, "Well, I got the podcast, on such and such a night, and then we got a little editing and this and stuff." And she goes, "Hey, how long are you gonna do this podcast thing?"
Oh no.
And it was like dead silence after that. And I like paused for a second. And I'm like, forever. And she starts laughing. She goes, "Ha ha ha! I'm just kidding." I'm
What?
like,
my heart.
well, you know what it is that my lovely wife, God love my wife. I've been with my wife 20 years and she's epic.
Mhm.
She's just, I could not ask for a
She
better
is awesome.
companion
You are a blessed
partner.
man.
And she knows me so well. She knows the exact things that push my buttons. So to hear like her little giggle after she would crack a joke like that, and she's totally kidding because she's 100% behind what I do. But yeah, it was pretty funny. I'm thinking, I'm like, holy crap, how long are we going to do this? And I'm like, forever. If Zos keeps putting out Elsewheres, forever. Until my fingers are so decrepit that I can't even press the freaking keys. And at that time, I'll play the game with nubs.
with nubs.
Like this, like a lineman.
I'll play the game until all I can say is the blessing.
What about your week? But I know how good your week was. 'Cause
Oh,
we talk every 30 seconds.
man, yeah, I know. The calls. Yeah, man, it's been a good week in Elsewhere. It's been good. Elsewhere's been great. Real life, you're right. Production quality of stuff or production in general has, really ramped up for us behind the scenes, and it really makes me super, super thankful. I'm just thankful for our staff within the guild at Loreseekers that allow us to focus on what we do, and they run that thing like a smooth sailing ship. And
Like a well-oiled machine.
Thank you. It's what I meant. Well-oiled machine. And
I like smooth sailing ship too. That's cool. It's kind of Nordic.
Oh, thanks.
It's Viking.
Yes, very Viking. But so anyway, I'm super thankful for them. So everybody on staff, thank you. We really, really do appreciate you. So yeah, I got a side quest out earlier in the week on Conjuration. I got one in the bag right now. That's releasing Monday. Oh, did you? Thank you. Releasing Monday. And so, yeah, and something happened today that really just, you already know what happened. Remember, super monumental moment for me, just to get real for a hot second. Finally, after 7 years, finally. If you didn't notice, Cash's voice was a little bit different last episode. That's because Cash was able to finally get an upgrade for his podcast gear. And he sounds awesome. I love it. It makes post-show editing even better. And so we're doing our best to really up the podcast quality of not only the quality of the show, the ins and outs of the show, but also, the way we sound. We feel like we're at a point now where we want our equipment to match the quality and content of our show. And so we want to be as great as possible. And so today, finally, after 7 years, I got a brand new studio on order. Everything top to bottom, and I cannot wait. I am just like a little child in Toys R Us. Man.
You're like that normally.
Yes.
But in this case, if there's anybody that deserves an upgrade more, I'd like to know who they are.
I appreciate
you
that.
Absolutely deserve this. And dude, you've taught me everything that I know about podcasting. Honestly, it's because of you. I got my starts and learned little things here and there, but you are the bulk of the reason that I have learned so much about this craft. And to see you upgrade, right to my heart.
Thanks,
I love
man.
it. Makes me very, very happy.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm excited. It's got good things coming. Man. We had, we could go on forever, really, just shooting the crap here. But we had an awesome week at Loreseekers, an awesome week in game, and just more and more good things coming for Loreseekers. So stay tuned to that. But anyway, if you missed last week's episode, it was an awesome episode. We may be biased, but we feel like we had a pretty...
we may be biased. If you and I are laughing, we're having a good episode.
We feel like we had a pretty solid show. It was our first impressions of Elsewhere. We talked to the drag. What's with that face? Did you fart?
No, I just saw that we have 18 pages of notes for tonight.
Oh my god.
That's a record. Holy.
So we have a formidable Lord's lesson for you later in the show, but
for everybody. I did this lore lesson for the peeps.
It's gonna be awesome.
I do every lore lesson for the peeps, but this one in particular, if you're playing through Elsewhere or getting ready to, you're gonna like this one.
This is one for you. I ain't even seen it yet. He just put it in the notes right before the show started, but it's gonna be good. So anyway, last week we did our very first impressions, very much in our honeymoon state, with Elsewhere, really getting in the nitty gritty. And so if you want to listen to that, you can't, spoiler free, all of it, 100%. So you enjoy that. We did the Talk to Dragon Rage trailer. We also Gave you a little bit more details on update 22, and we did a lore lesson on Euraxia Tharn's forces. Now, this week on the show, we're talking artifacts in Cyrodiil. We're bringing back a little bit more of our second impressions of Elsewhere. Just a little. You know, we vomited all that last week. This week, you know, we just want to kind of give us a little update in our playthrough and things we're seeing. In update 22, Dungeon Lore is back. You love it. We're bringing it back. It's back here today. Dungeon Lore on Spindle Clutch 2. An extended lore lesson on the Khajiit. And I mean like in depth, more so than the first time around a year ago. And then if we get to it, it really depends how long the show runs. We're going to get to mail. If not this week, next week. So anyway.
Can I sum up last week?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to sum up last week.
Okay.
Jibs.
Yeah.
It's the Lord. I know that you love the Necro. And I know that you love the cats. Summary complete. Carry on.
You know, you did good. Yeah. Anytime you say it's the Lord, I just.
Oh, you listen.
I do listen. Oh my gosh.
Sometimes the only way I can get to you.
It's the
That's the only way I can get to you.
It's not
So,
the text.
like with my wife, when I want to get to her,
Yeah.
I just dangle a payday in front of my face.
Yeah.
Payday. There's a payday. She's like, oh, what can I do for you, my love?
You say jump, you say how far. But, oh my gosh. So anyway, well, we've got a jam-packed show, so let's not waste any more time. We'll jump right in. Here we go. Oh, right. Well, two things before we get started. One, in case you missed this is for the console peeps, and I feel like I saw this on PC as well. Could be wrong, but we know for sure it's the console. PSA, this is a tweet out from Elder Scrolls Online. This came out today. It's Thursday. We're recording Thursday. For those of you listening tomorrow, this would be yesterday. PSA, we have identified an issue with the June daily login rewards for console players. The Day 21 reward will be missing, making it appear to have one fewer reward on console than on PC. I can't read when you do that face.
Not acceptable.
This will be updated on June 4th and should not affect your ability to claim your rewards. So keep in mind, that's there. That's a thing.
Yeah.
But anyway,
You'll live.
a lot of man, have you ever been in like a place where you're just like, I'm happy to be here? That's totally where I'm at right now. Just chill, happy to be here. So really anything could go tonight. This should be an interesting episode. So a lot of you are taking advantage of this, and we want to make sure that you know about it. Maybe you missed it, maybe for whatever reason, but we like to give you free things on us, and here's how you do that. We're kind of hooked up with Audible, and we want to give you free books. You know, like when you're done with the show and you're like, what do I do? Well, we can help you. So if you go to loreseekerspodcast.com, the very tippity top, it says free audiobook. Click on it. That's going to take you to audibletrial.com/loreseekers. You sign up for the free 30-day free trial, and you get one free audiobook and now 2 free originals on us. 100% free. You can keep your service going or you cancel it. Either way, you keep your books. So.
Jibs. It's the Lord again.
Oh my gosh.
Audible has a book on how to manage your Tamrielic marriage. You should buy it. That is all. Carry on.
Is this the endgame one apparently I now have with you or with the barmaid?
You did not marry your actual wife in Tamriel.
I wish.
You married your best friend in Tamriel. And you've been a really crappy husband so far.
So anyway,
there's
second impressions elsewhere. It's good.
See what I mean? He ignores me.
It's
He doesn't even listen. He's not a good listener.
go get the trash.
I'm about to puke. Hang on. I brought that upon myself. Hello?
I'll never forget, man. Me showing up with a wedding dress and eyeshadow and handlebar mustache.
Oh my God.
Oh,
I don't even want that visual in my head, but it took place. So there's that.
oh man. So yeah, Elsewhere has been good. My second time around, I've delved further into the chapter, taken my sweet time, just finished the main storyline. It's so good. It's so good. I did notice a few audio bug glitches here and there. Like I'll finish the side quest, and the guy, the final NPC. It's one of these zones. You'll probably pick up on it if it's still in when you finish it. He goes to say something, and he's literally saying his final like triumphant thing, whatever that is. I'm not going to say, but he's like, and bloody blah, and he disappears. Like just whoosh, he's gone. And I'm like, holy shit, where'd he go?
Secret tunnels.
He's- okay, El Chapo. No.
Secret tunnels.
No. But no, I mean, he's gone. So I mean, there's a few little audio weirdness happening every once in a while, but I tell you what, and like we said last week, we're gonna do a spoiler show sometime in the future when we're all done with Elsewhere, 100% Elsewhere. But that at the end of that storyline, it was good. I like it.
I myself have not gotten to the end of the storyline because, as I stated last week, I am taking my sweet time and enjoying every second of it. So,
Mhm.
and I'm not being super lazy with my necro. I mean, he's 41, 42.
Yeah.
I let's just go there first before we hop into lore or anything else like that. And like we said, we're not going to spoil anything still, but I'm in love with the necro.
Oh yeah.
I'm completely in love
Oh,
with
yeah.
the necro and really getting used to the skills and that small amount of skill that you need to have to play the necro to try and maximize your necro
Mhm.
is very easily mastered. And I'm not going to say I'm a master. Trust me, I'm not going to. But my rotation is pretty darn easy. It's not
Mhm.
too hard at all.
Yeah.
And I'm just having a blast melting faces with him. As for the quests, I've run into some really cool quest lines. And yeah, of course, I'm not going to say anything quite yet.
They're really good.
They're really good. And there's just, you are going to see so many people that you recognize from before, from other expansions, chapters, content. There's a lot of it there. And I love the way that everything was tied in. And I truly believe, as a budding lore fiend, as a lore seeker, I truly believe that they nailed the Khajiit.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Like 1,000,000%. They just
Yeah.
nailed them. There's
Yep.
the perfect mix of the fact that they've been the victim, the fact that they've had such conflict in their history.
Yep. You got it.
I mean, even the more recent conflict with the Bosmer, and now the two races are trying their best to work together as part of the Aldmeri Dominion, and the ancient history of the land, and the effect that the Akaviri had, and the Dragon Guard, and it's just all there.
Yeah.
And then their comedic side, it's just, that is super heavy. It's all there.
Yeah.
You're going to love it and take your time to smell the moon sugar. It's so fun.
There's a lot of good surprises, and I'm not going to spoil them. In fact, there's side quests that I was mid main quest, and I'm just like you, taking the time. At some point in the past week, I got hooked on that main story, and I'm like, I have to see where this goes. So I was doing that, and I came across a side quest that just blew my mind that this was in this chapter, that these kind of people were. Blew my mind. I'm not going to spoil it. It's very good. But quick question: have you been to Hakoshe?
God bless you. What?
You haven't been? Have you been to the city of? Is it Hakoshe? Hakoshe?
I've discovered everything on the map, so yes.
Have you done
Question mark?
Have you done the quest line there?
I don't know. I don't want to ask you to remind me what it was about, because if there's probably a yes or no answer to that, but I don't want you to spoil anything.
It's really good. That's all I'm going to say then. All right. Okay.
I'll tell you where I spent a lot of time in a certain public dungeon.
Oh, you do. Grats. Oh, you got to tell them.
Yeah, so I spent quite a few hours in Rimmen Necropolis, the public dungeon just outside of Rimmen, farming the Khajiit or the Alfiq mummy kitten pet thing.
Yeah.
You need 10 pieces of mummy Alfiq parts. Oh, I know those well. Mummy Alfiq parts. Need 10 pieces out of there to make this little tiny Alfiq mummy kitten.
That's so awesome looking too.
I've succeeded. Yeah.
It literally looks like
That
a
was
naked cat anyway. Like it's the way they've got it wrapped up and everything. I mean, like this
All
is
wrapped
you.
up.
This is you.
And it has the little Anequina mask on from the Anequina armor.
Mm-hmm.
It has it on.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
this is a priority.
Yeah.
I like questing and all that stuff, but holy crap, that was a priority. So I spent a lot of time in there, and you know what was really cool to see in there while I was in there for multiple hours?
What's up?
Just how well players coming in were working with each other. Like if somebody got to a boss first, they'd wait.
Oh yeah.
If they knew you were right behind him, they'd wait to aggro the boss before they did. There was a lot of working together. There was a lot of invites to a group to do content and stuff in there. And even though I was just farming it by myself, which by the way is totally doable on a necro and probably a lot of other classes too. But anyway, just the level of teamwork that was going on in there and people like looking out for each other was really freaking cool. It's just so weird to see that as in a MMO.
Well, it's just because we're so used to seeing such toxicity in other communities.
Yeah.
You know, it's like there's
Bushes.
there's MMO communities and then there's the ESO community.
Right.
I mean, like it's on its own pillar. I mean, its own pedestal. It's incredible. And you really get a sense for. I mean, shoot, you know this. You really get a sense for communities when you do a show for them. How they talk to you, how they respond to you. You take note of how the devs talk to you, if they interact, if they're into podcasts or if they're not into podcasts. You know, just all these things. And the ESO community is just, my gosh, I'll never forget the first day we show up and everyone just welcomes you with open arms. I mean,
yeah.
You know, like where's that happen? You know, where does that happen?
All of a sudden, I'm home.
That's right.
Like, okay, this is where I stay now forever.
Okay, we're good.
Okay.
But anyway, so yeah, Elsewhere is great. Necromancer plays very well. I've still got so much more to do in Elsewhere, and I'm really, really enjoying it. And you are too. So anyway, check it out, console. It's coming up. I'm excited for you. I can't wait.
Yeah.
Can't wait. It's gonna be a good time. You're gonna love it. So, all right, now on to the nitty-gritty. Here we go. So, Chaos comes to Cyrodiil with artifact weapons. This coming to us from ESO official website. So, starts off here. The Mad God Sheogorath wants to bring a little bit more You know, I had this right before the show. Volatility, nailed it, to the open world PvP zone of Cyrodiil by summoning powerful artifact. You know, fun fact, we got a bad review because of my pronunciations.
Oh, dude, there's not even a meter that measures how much I could give a crap less about a bad review because of your mispronunciations. I will pick any one of our listeners, put them in this seat, and have them pronounce these freaking words.
Like I say, it's
hard.
Good luck.
Yeah, you're good, bro.
But anyway, by summoning powerful artifact weapons to the field of battle in the Alliance War. However, the Daedric Prince of Madness is fickle, and what he can give, he can also take away. ESO's combat lead, Brian Wheeler, said, quote, "Chaos. We wanted to add chaos beyond what is already available in Cyrodiil. At this point in the game, a lot of the Alliance War's play patterns are fairly well ingrained. There isn't a real mobile element that exists beyond capturing Elder Scrolls, and so we wanted another way to get more people moving around," end quote. All right, so artifacts. They're coming to ESO, and it's starting with Volendrung. With update 22, with PC, you're already seeing this, between 4 and 5 times a day, the powerful artifact weapon known as Volendrung spawns into a random location in Cyrodiil. The game will warn you when it has arrived, but it doesn't immediately tell you where it is. Anybody can pick it up. The weapon can't, what?
As soon as it tells you that it's coming, it's gonna be here. Like everybody's gonna start running around in circles like JoJo the Circus Clown. I'm like, where's it at? Where's it
Find
at?
it, find it, find it, find it.
To the left, to the right. Classic.
The weapon can and will spawn almost anywhere on the map, including behind scroll gates, so keep your eyes peeled. After you've picked up the weapon, your base attributes are normalized and you gain access to a brand new suit of abilities that can strike down A, large groups of people, and B, allows you to do massive damage to fortifications, leaving all Cyrodiil crumbling in your wake. Woo!
Oh, that reminds me of that mode in Fortnite. No, I don't play Fork Knife, but my daughter does,
I would
and my nephews do.
pay money
So
to
there's-
watch you play that game.
Oh my god! Actually, I'm not that bad. Like, if my daughter has to take a break, she's like, "Dad." She actually feels comfortable handing me the controller. She's like, "Dad, just make sure I don't die." Yeah, no problem. She'll come back and there's several kills. So there's that. But anyway.
I think you're full of
I
crap.
digress.
I don't think you've killed a single person.
Oh my god. You're supposed to support me. You realize this.
Build them up.
Total-
Hashtag
Total douche move.
build them up.
Anyway, there's a mode in this where it's like God mode, and you got to be taken down. I don't know what they call it, Iron something, maybe Iron Man or something like that. But that's what this reminds me of.
Okay.
That means I like it.
All right,
I
cool.
don't know, long drawn out story for a stupid point. I like it.
Fork knife.
Fork Knife.
Still don't think you can kill anybody.
Dude, I don't play any other games. I play Skyrim every once in a while if I don't have an internet connection.
Oh man, that's so
Quit yelling at me.
All right, so when asked how powerful Volendrung truly is, Brian Wheeler said, quote, "It's OP. This will kill an emperor. If you're not paying attention and come across somebody with Volendrung, you're going to die." I like how it's just he's just like plain and simple, like, look, you're gonna die. And that's all there is to it. So anyway, he says, quote, "Of course, while it's lethal to players, its true purpose is to be a destroyer of keeps. It's going to have a major impact on the state of your campaign and how quickly and effortlessly it rips down walls," end quote.
I need it
Ooh.
because I suck at Cyrodiil PvP.
You know, I really need to get
I
into Cyrodiil
need-
PvP more.
Well, now's the best time. They've
They've-
added so much cool stuff to Cyrodiil.
Yeah, they really have.
I mean, Imperial City's its own thing. There's breakable walls. There's artifact weapons.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
All day. All day. Power at a cost. So, we kind of talked about this a little bit ago, but because Volendrung comes courtesy of Sheogorath, there is a catch. Of course there is a Sheogorath. The weapon requires you to keep it, quote, fed by acquiring alliance points via capturing, defending, or killing your opponents. Quick note that resurrecting or healing your fellow players does not fill the weapon. It thirsts only for destruction. So, if you do not feed the weapon a healthy diet of carnage and its meter drops to 0, A, Sheogorath's mighty curse strikes you dead immediately, and the weapon drops at your feet. B, if the wielder drops the weapon within the first 30 minutes of its initial pickup, anybody else can claim it for themselves.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You have to maintain and feed it.
Mm-hmm. Lots
You
and
have
lots
to
of
caress
kill.
it and you have to love it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No, no, no.
They should put Sheogorath's fork
Fork?
in this. Yeah, his fork. It smells like roast beef.
Okay, yep, gotcha.
It's a thing.
Yeah, I remember. You know what I
Ah.
would really, you know what I'd really like? I know this is out of timeline, but man, I'd really like to see something for the Gray Fox.
Wow. Yeah,
Right?
that would be sweet.
Yeah.
But what would happen?
I
You
have
just
no
disappear
idea.
off the map, pretty much. Pretty much, just
but it happened. That's
it'd
what
be
I'm saying.
like Men in Black holding that little schnibs right to your face, like poof, nothing ever happened.
What?
I don't know.
Why am I here?
I guess campaign's over.
Peace,
Sounds
we're
really
out.
boring, Jibs. How about a better suggestion?
I liked it. This means that if somebody else beats you to the weapon, you have a choice. A, you can either run for your dear life, or B, try to defeat the wielder and take the weapon for yourself.
I'll be the guy running.
And finally, be warned. If you give your enemy unchallenged access to the power of Volendrung, your keeps will soon be nothing more than rubble. Whew.
Yeah.
We should hop in there. We should. I'm a
I'll tell you what.
battleground guy, to be honest.
Right. So anyway, it's it's spring, like mid-spring, right? So it's coming.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. PvP time is coming.
That's gonna be insane.
Midsummer Madness is coming, and I was actually already thinking about a build for my Necro. I should say it like this every time. My Necro. Death, destruction. Anyway, I was
Like a-
thinking of
Sounds like a B film knockoff announcer.
Dude, my whole life is an effing B film. Oh God. You know this. But anyway, I was thinking
Carry on.
about a build for him, and like nothing but PvP is going to happen that entire week. Nothing but PvP.
Yep.
And I think that's probably the next one because I think Zos got it. I think people are a little poopy burned out on events right now, and they
On
just
burnt,
want to
like beyond charred, like no life, no juices in the meat, completely dried out.
Well, yeah, and then so they freaking plan it brilliantly. So there's a lot of brilliance going on there.
Yes.
All the events end that gets everybody like, oh, okay, I'm tired, and they give us a week off, and then Elsewhere launches, and it's like a month-long beer bong of Elsewhere, just
Just a shot of
and then
energy drink.
yeah, and then once we're like, okay, I've finished the content in Elsewhere, blammo, time for PvP, bitches. Like, okay, let's do this.
Yeah, I'm ready.
And we're jumping up and down. This is what we do. They're freaking brilliant. The way they're planning this whole thing. Because that's exactly what's going to happen. I'm thinking ahead of time. They don't even have dates set. And I'm already going, this is what I'm going to do for this. This is what Midsummer Madness is. What
Ready
I'm
to
going to do. Yeah. Helena White Strike and the thing and all that stuff and XP and woo. I don't know. Am I the only one? No.
You sound
I'm
like
not.
someone completely strung out at this point for 48 hours straight.
Dude, I'm high on freaking moon sugar. I told you I got it in the moon sugar. Might have even been skooma. I'm not telling you. That's illegal.
So anyway, yeah. Was it Midsummer Mayhem or Mid Mayhem? Mid-Year Mayhem? Mid-Year Mayhem. That's the one.
That's the sound of an empty glass.
It is the sound of an empty glass. Well, while he's doing that, I'll do this. So we want to know what you think. Yes, that's it for the news this week. We got to meet the character of Cadwell, but it came late in the show. We didn't have time to put it in. So anyway, we want to know what you think. You can call us anytime you're feeling frisky or feeling lonely, or you just want someone to talk to, like our voicemail. That'd be 765-382, and you're out of whiskey. 6961. You can also email us anytime, anywhere. Loreseekerspodcast@gmail.com. I stand
I got
corrected.
another one right here.
You are not out of whiskey. Are you ready for Dungeon Lore? Because it's that time.
What? Oh, yeah.
All right, here we go.
Yeah.
All right, well, Dungeon Lore, it's that time where we get to the nitty-gritty of a dungeon. And not only do we take you through the dungeon, basically, have you ever been in a pug group and they are just charging through content, and you've never ran the quest before, but you want the XP, so you're like, ugh, you're torn, right? So
Every day.
So you end up picking up the quest, just doing it to get the, what you need, but you felt like you lost something in the process. Well, that's what this segment is all about. We call it Dungeon Lore. We take you through the quest line, so you don't have to worry about it. We go over what gear you can get, and it's pretty freaking fun. So, Cash, what we got?
Well, we don't want you to lose anything. Except for maybe your virginity. But anyway, so we're covering Spindle Clutch 2 tonight. What? What happened?
You're going.
Am I Tourette'ing? Am I Tourette'ing
I'm
again?
gonna take another drink of water. You go ahead.
I'm Tourette'ing again.
You do you. I'll just be right here
So,
in the corner.
so
rocking.
the last time we covered Dungeon Lore was a couple weeks ago, and we covered Spindle Clutch 1. This week we're hitting Spindle Clutch 2. So I'm gonna some of the stuff's the same, but we're gonna cover a different quest and some different gear and such. But anyway, the loading screen text reads, and once again, this is when you're either going pee or refilling your adult beverage, or your Kool-Aid, or your Capri Sun, depending on your age and what you're into.
You
I digress. The alien ruins of Dwinarth that grin down from the bluffs above Hag Fen were plundered and emptied out generations ago. But it seems there are forgotten mine tunnels beneath the lowest levels of Dwinarth that might not be quite so empty. So Spindleclutch is found in the province of High Rock. High Rock is located in the northwest section of Tamriel and is mostly inhabited by Bretons. That Magicka regen. The northern tip of High Rock also contains Orsinium, the city-state of the orcs. Smelly orcs. Where is it located? The region it's located in is Glenumbra. This region covers the entire peninsula that separates the Iliac Bay from the Etheric Ocean. The peninsula's geography is a mix of rugged woodland and fetid swamp. The crap ton of undead. Currently. In 2E 584. So let's talk about the quest. In this particular dungeon, Spindleclutch 2, you are going to get the quest Blood Relation once. Only once. Then it's no more unless you're on a new character.
No caps.
And no caps. God, you've gotten fat. Anyway, what are you going to do in here? Upon your return to Spindleclutch, you will find Sud Harim, a male Redguard guardian of the Fighters Guild. This is the same guy who was captured by the Whisperer, whom you vanquished in Spindleclutch 1. Sud Harim is a kind soul, and all he's doing is searching for his son, Atavar. He asks for your help in venturing deep into the dungeon to help him search for Atavar and his companions. You'll face enemies in your dungeon and some very cool twists, but I will not spoil that for you. You're going to have to run this super freaking easy dungeon on your own. You can solo it. Anyway, types of enemies you are going to encounter in here are vampires.
Vampire.
Yeah, that might allude to a certain storyline. Infantry, flesh atronachs, and I lolled bonemen. Yes, bonemen. Not bonermen, Jib.
You're like 13.
Not,
I'm casting with a freaking 13-year-old.
not bonermen. And it took you 56 freaking episodes for you to figure this out.
Is it really 56? It's got to be more 56.
56 lore lessons or something. I don't know.
Well, it's in the lore lesson.
Okay. Thanks for setting me straight on that, Dad. Anyway,
Mother line.
don't you have to poop?
Damn it.
Anyway, there's mini bosses in here too. Mad Mortine, he's a blood fiend. There's the Flesh Atronach Trio, a group of 3 powerful Atronachs who must be defeated together. Irvin Valeth, a Dunmer vampire, which sounds formidable, but is not. The actual bosses in the dungeon are Bloodspawn. There's just a giant gargoyle. Praxen Duar, the wraith of a former Fighters Guild member, which you may or may not have seen. It's been a good one. Then there's Voronair Winterborn, a Nord vampire lord, as Jibs likes to call them, Vikings.
AKA Cash when he hasn't played ESO in a week.
Such a dork. Such a freaking dork.
Just because I like the Vikings and Nords, just because I interbreed them a little, doesn't mean anything.
Really? You're from Indiana and you happen to mention interbreeding. Super weird. Super freaking weird. So the next part is for you. Jibs is going to handle gear sets. Thank you, Jibs.
It's funny because it happens here.
You freaking weird. Freaking weird. Dude, I'm from Southern California. I have like no room to talk, so there's that.
Okay, folks. I swear I know what I'm doing. All right.
He doesn't.
Gear sets. So,
Like it all.
if you're running Spindleclutch 2, there's going to be all kinds of good sets that you can get. There's a couple here that are listed. First off being Prayer Shawl. This is the light armor set. So, at 2 pieces, you get 1096 Match Magicka. Did I say Match Magicka? Max Magicka. There we go. 3 items, 129 spell damage. 4 items, 129 magic recovery. And at 5 items, when you heal a friendly target, you have a 6% chance to grant them a damage shield that absorbs up to 2,400 damage for 6 seconds. That's a good one. Good starter set. Good starter set. Spelunker is a medium armor set. 2 items gives you 1,096 max stamina. I said magicka again. 129 stamina recovery. 129 weapon damage. And at 5 items, adds up to 400 weapon and spell damage to your Undaunted abilities. When an ally uses one of your Undaunted ability synergies, you restore up to 1,500 stamina. Goodness. So yeah, there's that set. It's fun. It's a fun set. These aren't the greatest sets in the world, but, you know, they're not bad either. So anyway, I'm sorry, folks. You'll never know what Cash is doing in the background. 5 items, 400 weapon and spell damage to your Undaunted. That was from the medium armor. Oh, edit! Nightmare set. It's a heavy armor set. 2 items. Gives you 2,900 physical resistance. 3 items. 1,200 maximum health. 4 items. 129 weapon damage. And at 5 items, when you deal melee damage, you have a 20% chance to apply minor maim to all enemies within 8 meters of you for 5 seconds, reducing their damage down by 15%. Not a bad set.
He said maim. Why are you so giggly?
Not a bad set. I'm just happy to be here, man.
You're always happy.
And somebody was doing some kind of crotch thrusting in the background and
That
smiling.
is called a twitch hump. I may or may not have been doing a twitch hump in the background, but it's not that big of a deal, you guys. It's totally PG.
Oh, yeah, this is totally PG. Bloodspawn. Now, this isn't too bad of a set. There's quite a few people who use this set quite often. So, again, run a vet dungeon, kill the boss, you're going to get the monster helm, all right? If you want to get the shoulders, you go to one of the Undaunted chests. Google it. It's awesome. You'll appreciate it. Trust me. All right, so Bloodspawn. 1 item adds 129 stam recovery, and 2 items, being shoulders or headpiece. When you take damage, you have a 6% chance to generate 14 ultimate and increase your physical and spell resistance by up to 6,450 for 6 seconds. By the way, that's 6,450 for 6
They
seconds.
can do math.
This effect can occur once every 6 seconds. My co-host is a douchebag. Achievements. So,
Again, almost 60 episodes it took you to figure that out.
Evan, no. When did we meet? 2012?
Loreseekers is now hiring for a new co-host. Because I'm getting fired.
Oh, crap. Oh, achievements. Spindle Clutch 2, Vanquisher. You defeat everybody. And you get that one done. All right? Defeat all the bosses. Spindle Clutch 2, Conquer. Defeat the Blood Golem, Praxton's Ghost, Winterborn, and Vet Spindle Clutch 2. Compassionate Hero. You defeat Winterborn and Vet Spindle Clutch 2 without killing any of the innocent victims held captive in his lair. What are you drinking out of? Is that a bottle? Yeah, that's a bottle.
Yeti.
All right, Vet Flesh Atronach Conqueror. Defeat 65 Flesh Atronachs and Veteran Spindle Clutch 2. Then Veteran Thrall Slayer. Defeat 220 vampires in Vet Spindle Clutch 2. And then Spindle Clutch 2 Survivor. That's a no death run, so you do the whole thing. No deaths. You get that one knocked out. Spindle Clutch 2 Assassin Speed Run. You do the whole thing within, 20 minutes? Yeah, 20 minutes of the first pull. And, yeah, that's it. You know what's funny?
Guys, they're so easy.
You know what's funny?
We're still not on the hard dungeons yet.
I know. We're really not. You and I both, we've really, once we get our necros all dialed in, get their gear, we're happy. You know what we need to do?
Everything.
Yes, amen to that. We're 100% in everything. We know that. But
Yes.
we really need to start doing no death runs and speed runs on dungeons. Start at the bottom
Done.
and work your way up.
It's done. Dude, I'm so in on that. And we've been talking about this for quite a while, like on our necros, and I don't know if Slash Lurk is still here, but Jesus, thank you so much
It's
for
the
making
Lord.
this so good, because it's my forever class. I love it. And everything panned out. It's just Everything's so good. So anyway,
It's good.
do you remember, we mentioned this last week, but do you remember when we did the lore lesson on the chronology of ESO?
Yeah.
That is where we're taking our necros, my friends. As soon as I'm done with Elsewhere, which, look, I don't know how long it's going to take, right? But once I'm done taking my time, once I'm done taking my time with Elsewhere, I am going to the very first thing on that list, and I'm starting there. So, look, I love my lore seeker community. I love talking to everybody. But if I'm running quests, like, look, I don't want to talk to all you people. I don't. I want to learn the stories.
So much
But
content.
there's so much content, and like, even though it's funny that I had mentioned that, because I really miss. I took 2 days off, and I just did nothing but questing and content in Elsewhere. And like on the third day, I was like, this freaking blows me all by myself. So I've been popping back into chat and stuff with lore seekers, but it has been relatively quiet. I think all the PC folks are.
Oh yeah,
kinda
this is
devouring
normal.
stuff.
Yeah, so anytime you're in the
Yeah.
Lore Seekers community, when a new chapter comes around, nobody really hops in Discord because again, we're all chewing on the new lore and the quests and everything. And
Yeah.
then it's just kind of like, over the course of a month, it just it starts to go back to normal.
Yeah. Well, once everybody is they're kind of out of questing mode and then back into
Grind mode.
undaunted, and
Yeah.
I don't even want to call it grind mode because it never really feels like that to me.
No.
It's just like, well, I play ESO. That's what I do. It's part of my day. So these are the things that I need to get done for the day.
Right.
Once we get back to that, and then I'll mention another thing. But once we get back to that, the chat will be a lot more busy. I think every night now we got probably 10 people in chat chatting. But when it comes to our trial, like this last week, we ran our first run of Sunspire.
Oh yeah, man.
So,
Tell
which
me.
by the way is so much fun. I think on the first poll we were like, "Is this on vet?" Freaking trash. I was like, "Holy crap!" But we were we ended up doing fine. We had 2 runs of it, and Sunspire is bad ass. I mean, I don't even want to say it, but we took so many damn screenshots in there. Basically, Sunspire is a bunch of mobs, crash mobs, and in between there are dragons.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think that's a spoiler at all because it's already been detailed.
There's a lot of death. There's some
It's
Khajiit.
just, but dude, we did really well.
That's awesome.
We did very well. I think everybody that we had with us in our group were experienced trial folks, but we did really, really well for that being the first time. And I got to give kudos to Jen and Chivas, who had both been through before. Actually, I take that back. Jen had not been through before, but she had read a guide, and Chivas had been through like 10 times already. So
Goodness.
I know. So it's like, I mean, with the Lore Seekers Go, we have people of all different skill levels, and those 2 just absolutely crushed it in running this event for our guild. And I mean, like I said, we ran through it twice. Do not miss out on that content, you guys. It is so freaking awesome in there. And that's where all
Can't
your
wait.
new sets, that's where some of your meta sets are going to come from.
Oh yeah. I can't wait. I'm holding off till I'm done with my Necro's ready. I don't think he's going to be ready for this week's raid. The closer and closer it gets to raid time, but I think next week, the following week, he'll be
Take your Sork, dude. Put on
ready
your
to
big boy
rock.
pants.
No.
And take your Sork.
Nope. I'm doing this content.
All right, you gonna stay in Pampers for another few weeks, whatever.
Hey, you know what? I'm 46. Why don't you play catch up? Let me play.
46. You act like you're 46 years old, is what you do.
So I have more hair than you.
Oh my God, that was such a dick move. That was such a dick move.
Oh.
What?
all right.
You have more back hair than I do. There's that.
You disgust me. All right. So anyway,
Boom.
this was Dungeon Lore. We hope you liked it. And yeah, we'll bring it back again in another episode. But now it's time. More.
Shout out to chat. Von Jamestein says this show is Jibs trying to be serious while Cash is shooting spitballs at him.
It's true.
It's the Lord.
This is this week, folks. I don't apologize for it. This is just, we're just happy to be here and in your ear holes. All right, so,
Yeah.
all right, here we go. Cash, this lore lesson time. You ready?
Right at your nuts.
Okay,
Right on cue.
you are awkward. Here we go.
All right, so here's the deal. I have so many ideas for lore lessons, but as I'm going through elsewhere, I am noticing the massive amount of lore that is there for the Khajiit, and all these small little references to how the Khajiit become Khajiit and all the different types. I'm not talking about a lesson on the birds and the bees. So, okay, and apparently Jibs has to urinate because there's like a 72 font I have to pee in our notes. So I guess I'm on my own for a little bit. He's such a douche. Anyway, there's so much Khajiiti lore going on in elsewhere that I figured we need a refresher on the Khajiit. Only this time, we covered the Khajiit in lore lesson number 11, which was months ago. So I wanted to dive a little bit deeper in Khajiiti lore tonight and talk to you about some of the things that they're going to reference. There are no spoilers once again, but there are a lot of things that are referenced in elsewhere that I think this could bring some understanding to for you when you encounter them. So this is a deeper dive into our favorite felines in elsewhere. We're going to examine a bit of their lifestyle, religion, history, in order to give you a more in-depth understanding during your playthrough of elsewhere. And as you can see, I have an Elfique right here in my hands. Who's trying to step on my soundboard. Anyway, so let's start. We're going to cover some of the terms that you should probably be familiar with before we get too far into the weeds into the Khajiit, because I will say the Khajiit are probably one of the most complicated races that there are in elsewhere. It's important to note that much of the Khajiiti pantheon is a variant of the deities found throughout the whole of Tamriel. For example, the Khajiit would worship Alkosh, who's mentioned a lot in elsewhere, where a high elf would worship Akatosh, but both are the same. So I'm going to clear up some of that stuff. So let's go over some terms that will help you, I think, understand a little bit more. An Equinine, also known as Anakina, is a Khajiiti kingdom in northern elsewhere, and that's the one that's been released as northern elsewhere. That's what you're going to be adventuring in. The region is filled with harsh badlands and arid plains. The next term is Auriel. Auriel is the king of the Aldmer and the elven variant of Akatosh. Now, this one's kind of hard to absorb, but Auriel is the king of the Aldmer. Aldmer, which means the most early high elves, and the elven variant of Akatosh. Most Altmer, and Bosmer to this day claim that they are direct descendants of Auriel. If you do any quest lines in Grotwood, there are a ton of reference from the Wood Elves to Auriel. Akatosh. Akatosh is yet another name for Auriel, the chief deity of the Nine Divines and present in most Tamrielic regions. The next term is the Lunar Lattice. This one is all over the new content.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So in relation to the morphology of the Khajiit, there are distinct differences in how they look based upon the phases of the moons on the day they were born. Within weeks of their birth, the morphology begins to take shape. We will get in depth on this a little bit later. Let's talk about the moons, Masser and Secunda. Masser is the greater of Nirn's two moons. Masser is also known as Jode by the Khajiit, and is considered an attendant spirit of the mortal plane and also subject to the bounds of mortality. Jode in Elnofex. Now remember, Elnofex is the ancient language of Nirn spoken by the Elnofey, or the old gods. That means big moon god. So Jode means the big moon god. Now, on the contrary, Secunda is the lesser of Nirn's two moons. Jibs, that means the smaller one.
Okay.
Okay. Secunda, also known as Joan, is also considered an attendant spirit and therefore subject to the bounds of mortality. Joan in the Elnofex means little moon god. Big moon, little moon, not so hard. And also Master and Secunda, Jode and Joan. All it is a Khajiit being little smartasses changing the names of stuff. That's pretty much all this is. So, I mean, if it helps you understand the Khajiit a little bit more, then I think we're in a good place. So the first fun fact of our lore lesson is that Akatosh is considered to be the first of the gods to form. The very first god ever was Akatosh, making the process easier and more obtainable for other spirits to follow. So it's kind of like the first one to jump off the cliff. All the rest of the people behind him are like, no big deal. We can go. So after Akatosh appeared, all the other various pantheons of the world emerged. And now my Khajiit is getting so much incessant love for me that one of her eye boogers is on my finger.
Ew.
I have nowhere to wipe it.
That's gross.
That's part of the lore lesson now.
You
It's
need-
ingrained
You need to
in our
fix
lore
that.
lesson. Thank you, Lucy. Meow. Anyway. All right. Let's talk about the gods of the Khajiit. You'll kind of get a kick out of this because they changed the names, but it's the same person. So, all right. One that you're going to hear a lot is Alkosh. Alkosh is known as the Dragon King of the Cats and an equine deity. This deity is a variation of the Altmer's Ariel and an Akatosh type hero from very early time in Khajiit culture. So, Alkosh equals Akatosh. If you couldn't figure that out, I want to take a screwdriver. Just kidding. Don't want to do that. Anyway, thanks for laughing, Jibs, and for all the support.
Just for to make you feel awkward. Did it work?
It did.
All right, good.
So worship of Alkosh continues to dominate Khajiit culture, especially in the region of Elsewhere. In races other than the Khajiit, Alkosh or Akatosh is depicted as a large dragon with feline features. However, the Khajiit consider Alkosh to be a really big cat. Super weird. He's a cat. That's what he is. I don't know what your people are thinking. You're crazy. The next god is Azura. Azura is the goddess of dusk and dawn. Azura is the goddess to whom the Khajiit attribute their mortal form and their close connection to the lunar lattice. Azura shares many characteristics with the goddess Azura of other cultures, and they're just spelt differently. One has an H at the end and the other doesn't. But the Khajiit consider the two to be different entities. Oh, it's so weird. This is ours, not yours. Leave it alone. I slap your hand. So Azura is represented in Khajiit culture as a Khajiit with oversized eyes and pupils that resemble the stars. I love Khajiit. Okay, so next is Bandar. Bandar the pariah is regarded as more of a physical manifestation than it is a god. Bandar is attributed to the cleverness and the wit of the Khajiit in response to the vast amounts of suffering in their past. Now, you remember that a lot of the Khajiit will refer to Bandari,
Yeah.
followers of Bandar. Bandar is mostly attributed to the keen thinking of the Khajiit, which allows for them to formulate last-minute plans, that sounds very Slode-like, to foil the machinations of their foes, be it man or mer. I didn't really understand that one either, but I'll have to dig into that one
I'm
a little
still
bit more.
processing.
I'm still processing that one. So the last god is Canarthi, the goddess of the winds. Canarthi is said to give life to her kin, Joan and Jode, on their path through the sky. Canarthi is said to grant the Khajiit their swiftness, Canarthia is represented by a large hawk and is popular among sailors and farmers. And you'll remember that one of our starting zones is Canarthi's Roost.
Canarthi's Roost, yeah.
Yeah. So a fun fact, when a Khajiit dies, it is said that their soul is flown by Canarthi to the sands behind the stars.
Yep, that's gonna happen, and you're gonna experience that in Elsewhere. That content. That's pretty cool.
That's right. So as I scroll down, and I told you that was the last god, I lied. There's a crap ton more.
Oh, okay.
So there's Jode. Jode is known as the big moon god. We also we already talked about Masser.
Mm-hmm.
Jode is just one aspect of the lunar lattice and is revered differently by each subspecies of Khajiit, as their own mortal manifestation is reliant upon these aspects of the moons. Once again, we will cover that in a little more detail later. Joan is known as the little moon god, also Secunda.
Mm-hmm.
Joan is the other aspect of the lunar lattice and is revered differently by each Khajiiti subspecies. Now we get to Lorcage, the moon beast. Lorcage, you can already guess which one that is easily identifiable as the history of Lorcan, and in Khajiiti culture, credited with the creation of the mortal plane. Kind of a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Lorcage holds different reverence for the Khajiit, some out of admiration and some out of complete contempt for his deceit and cunning. Totally get that.
Lorcage, man. Maw Lorcage, all the gear that comes from Lorcage, the style that you can get. Ugh.
Dude, and the history of Lorcage, probably one of the biggest deities in Tamrielic culture.
We should do
Is
something
Lorcan.
on that. Just Lorcage. We should look into that.
How about the lore lesson on Lorcan that we did a while ago? Super stoked you're paying attention. Awesome. Thanks, Jibs.
It was an honest effort.
Anyway, Namira. The Great Darkness is the Khajiiti name for Namira, who represents the darkness found within the heart of Lorcan, or Lorcage, and the great void from which he was born. When a Khajiit dies, they not only are assisted by Canarthi, but they entrust their soul to Namira. Mara. Mara is known to the Khajiit as the mother cat, the goddess of love.
Oh.
I know, it's so sweet. She is attributed to the passions of the Khajiit, though evidence of her actual worship amongst the race is unknown.
Hmm.
I know. Where do they come up with this stuff?
Yeah, I don't recall seeing anything with Mara and Elsewhere, as far as any kind of worship either. So.
Not yet.
Hmm.
You'd probably have to go to a brothel to find worship of Mara. But this is the family show. We're not going to talk too much about
This
that.
is PG, guy.
I know.
This is Disney.
Hey,
We don't.
Hey, Chris, your zipper's up again.
So many things I could do with that. All right,
Stop
cool.
talking. This is my time. All right, so the next god is Mehrunes. Yeah, it's not too hard to figure out Mehrunes. Mehrunes is also known as Jakajit in Khajiiti speak. Anyway, the Khajiiti version of the Daedric prince Mehrunes Dagon, super surprise. Mehrunes is known for his natural tendency to rend and destroy all things around him.
I like him.
Yeah, he's an SOB. He is depicted as an eternally young god in a cat form.
I want to be depicted eternally young.
That'll never happen. Way too much hair loss for that stuff.
You cannot come back from that.
This is my last side. Stop talking.
Okay, my fault.
All right. Now, my personal favorite. Because he's awesome. Really awesome. Rajin, known as the footpad and the silent walker. Rajin is a highly revered part of Khajiiti pantheon. Rajin is the thief god.
Mm-hmm.
And in life, he was the most infamous cat burglar in all of Elsewhere's history. The trickster cat, who in life originated from the Black Kirigo part of Senchal, which we haven't had any part of yet, was said to be so incredibly skilled as a thief, he was able to steal the tattoo from the neck of an empress as she slept.
That sounds different.
Hard freaking core. Anyway, Regine is credited with using the Ring of Khajiit, which is an infamous artifact of the race that allowed for the most incredible acts of thievery ever known. When Regine died, he was adopted as a god among the Khajiit to serve an example of their cleverness and their ability as a Khajiit race.
I really, really like him a lot. And the kind of contact that you get with him and elsewhere.
Spoiler!
It's good. That's all I'm going to say.
That's the first spoiler.
Is that a spoiler? That's
Yeah.
not a spoiler.
Yeah.
How's
it's
that a spoiler? That's
No,
not a
you're-
spoiler.
No, honestly, you're kind of. Whatever, dude. People are mad now.
It's forced anger.
Ah.
Direct that hate toward @LoreSeekerCash. That's my Twitter.
Your Twitter is Loreseeker douchebag at www.douchebaggery.com. Okay.
Price is wrong, Bobby.
Fun fact. Before attempting an unlawful act, many Khajiit ask for Rajine's blessing, which makes Rajine doubly awesome. I don't know if I'm supposed to be doing this, but I am about to commit murder and thievery, so Rajine, make sure that I'm good. I like it. Okay, couple more. Riddlethar is the sugar god or the god of the two moons dance and was brought to the Khajiit people by the famous prophet Riddle. Oh my god.
What?
Ridtharidata. Ridtharidata as a set of guidelines rather than an actual deity. So Riddlethar is something that they follow, not necessarily a person. The thought of Riddlethar was brought to the Khajiit by Ridtharidata, who is an actual person. Therefore, to many Khajiit, Riddlethar is a sense of being. This is sounding very like yoga-y, meditation-y. Sense of being, right? Okay, I'll shut up. Riddlethar is still known to manifest as a humble messenger of the gods who manifests when people are in need of assistance. So he's kind of like the Red Cross.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. You need a real world reference. Anyway, the next one. I laugh at the name of this one, but it is what it is. Srendar. Srendar. Yeah, they mean Stendar. He is known as the Runt.
Oh.
Oh my god, it took you so long to realize that.
I never knew that.
Now you know the lore. It's rich. So Srendar is known as the Runt or the god of mercy. Srendar has a close resemblance to the manifestations of Stendar by other races of Tamriel. Not much else is known about any actual worship of Srendar by the Khajiit. Little fun fact about that, since both Srendar and Stendar are known are known as the god of mercy by all races of Tamriel, and with no actual information on Stendar being a god revered by the Khajiit, the close pronunciation between Srendar and Stendar may actually be nothing but a legitimate mispronunciation.
Okay.
So there's that. Very strange. Now, I'm not going to lie. This next one irritates the living crap out of me. Honestly does. People will probably send me hate mail about this, but this one, he just irritates me.
Okay.
Shagorath.
What's wrong with it?
Irritates me.
Because the O's gone?
No, because he's freaking annoying
Oh.
as a character. Full on. Like the whole thing. I'm not a fan.
Okay.
Okay, so there's that. Anyway, known as the Skooma Cat or the God of Madness, Shagorath, notice the tone inflection, Shagorath is easily identifiable with the Daedric prince Sheogorath. I did really well on that. I'm going to give myself a golf clap.
All right,
Golf
yep,
clap.
good job. Good job.
Okay. Negative effects of skooma and moon sugar in Khajiit culture are attributed to the presence of this trickster douchebag god.
Man, you really don't like him, do you?
I do not. I do not.
Pretty dead serious about that too.
Okay, so some of the other Daedra are evil, like truly evil. This guy tricks people into some gnarly, sinister crap. And I'm getting like totally serious here for no reason, but I just
You're
I
getting pretty
don't
worked
like,
up. I mean, your face is red, your nostrils are flaring. I mean, who does
I think
that?
I think he's a total.
Now you got veins popping out of your scalp.
Yeah, I don't like him. Some of the stuff he does is gnarly, so I don't even really feel bad for that. Let's talk about the lunar lattice.
Okay.
Hate mail is inbound. There are so many people that love Sheogorath just because he's like super wacky. Yeah, he's a dick.
Chat says
Anyway.
blame the other princes. They made him that way.
Okay, I do. There's a lot of them I don't like, but this guy, yeah, he's just evil. Okay, the lunar lattice. As we have discussed in a previous lore lesson 11, if you haven't seen it, go take a look. The morphology of each Khajiit is determined on their date of birth and is directly attributed to the moon phases of Joan and Jode, which we've already identified as Master and Secunda, the two moons. These phases are referred to as the lunar lattice. So at birth, all Khajiit look very, very similar. But within a few weeks, their individual body shape begins to take place, and then once manifested, will remain for the duration of their lives. And I'm talking anything from a house cat appearing Alfiq to a freaking Centrot, a massive, giant, I skipped leg day beast.
Don't forget the Pomerots.
Right, they're all there. So it all depends on the lunar lattice and what phase each moon is in. So let's talk a little bit about it. The Khajiit grow, this is a fun fact, by the way. The Khajiit grow at a much faster rate than a human, and their average lifespan is around 100 years. 100 years. Yeah,
I didn't
wanna live
realize
that
they're,
long.
you know, I didn't realize they lived. To me, that's short. We're talking Tamriel years.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess it's a high fantasy thing, but like my cats, I wish they lived 100 years. I'd love for my cats to outlive me. But like 15 years and I have to go through the pain and frickin' misery of putting a cat down.
I'd love your cats to outlive you.
And they're like the douchebaggery in you, it has no bounds. That was just mean and uncalled for. I'm a nice person.
It was kitty cat mean right there.
I'm a nice person.
Took it to 11.
Fur stocks. Let's talk about fur stocks. You have heard Zos refer to fur stock. There are 17 different versions of Khajiit, and these variations are known as fur stock. Within Khajiiti society, although each one of these body types are quite different and distinct, they are all granted respect, regardless of their shape or size. I think modern society could take note from that. It doesn't matter who you are or what you look like, you are all respected equally. Okay, all done with that. Depending on the phases of the moons, if the moons are waxing, waning, full, or new, in whatever combination of those four of each of the moons, various morphologies will manifest. For example, if Master is waxing and Secunda is waning, a Toje Rot will be born. If Master is full and Secunda is full, a Sench is born. I will not go through every single type because you'll shoot me in the face by the time we're done. There's a ton. There's a lot
There
of
is a lot.
combinations.
Oh, yeah.
So anyway, the different types of Khajiit, depending on how these morphologies manifest, are as follows. There's Ohms. Similar in many ways to the Bosmer. Yes. Similar in many ways to the Bosmer, which means they don't look like Khajiits.
Mm-hmm.
Many Ohms will tattoo their faces to resemble a cat, so they're not mistaken for a Bosmer. And the ohms rot. Whenever I get to a morphology called something rot, it means this race is the same as the original, as the prefix, but it's much larger and more ferocious.
That's a huge bit.
That's a huge thing. Cat. What it means. So anyway, prefix dash rot means the larger, more ferocious form. So anyway, ohms rot. Similar to the race of men, short tails, light colored foal. This type of Khajiit walk on their heels, unlike many other subspecies. Now we get into the more kitties. Suthe rot. Similar in height and build to man, one of the most common Khajiiti breeds. Their colors are dark brown, orange, light yellow. They may have spots or stripes. The Suthe, the smaller version of the Suthe rot. Then there's Cathay, similar to the Suthe rot in appearance, stronger and larger, however. Then there's the Cathay rot, larger and stronger than the Cathay, and they're known as jaguar men. There's the Toje, not the Toe Jam, the Toje. Little is known about this breed except they live in the southern marshes and jungles of elsewhere. Then there's the Toje rot, larger version. My very 150,000% favorite, the Alfiq.
Oh, yeah. Good stuff.
I have one sitting in my lap right now. Very similar to a house cat, the Alfiq are quadrupedal, but the keen and quite adept intelligence of the Khajiit allow them to understand the spoken word and possibly cast spells. I love them so bad. Then the Alfiq rot. Nothing really known about the subspecies.
Man, I'd love to see that.
Other than they're larger. So the way I look at it is a regular house cat and like a lynx or a savanna cat.
Okay, yeah.
In the real world, if
Yeah.
that means it makes any sense. And they can freaking cast spells and understand what you're saying
Yeah.
and quite possibly respond. So I don't know if I want that. I like my cats unable to yell.
Docile, yeah.
So anyway, there's the doggy and the doggy rot. Common less form, a less common form because words are hard. Doggy live in the trees of the Tenmar forest. We mentioned a battle between the Khajiit. That's my Khajiits. Who's my Khajiit? We mentioned a battle between the Khajiit and the Bosmer in the past, where the Bosmer were lured into the forest by the Khajiit and then attacked and obliterated. These
Dirty.
were the doggy rot.
Hmm.
Yeah. Cool. Then there's the Palmar, similar in appearance and size of a common tiger. The Palmar rot are similar to the appearance of Palmar, but of course larger and more fierce. The Sench, very large bipedal Khajiit. The Sench are approximately the height of an average Altmer, which is pretty freaking tall. Think Shaq. However, 20 times their weight. They have thick forelimbs, and that's Thick, not Thicc. Forelimbs, and are even more thick than rear limbs, giving them a muscular appearance much like that of an ape.
So, Fat Shack on roids.
Fat Shack on roids that did not skip leg day. Their coats are ribboned with striped in a dark crimson. Oh boy.
Crimson?
Whiskey is essential and it helps.
Hmm.
Crimson color. Then there's the Sench rot, larger and slower than the Sench. Definitely my mount. Slower. With the shorter body and straighter legs, the average Sench rot stands as tall as 2 Altmer and can weigh as much as 50 Altmer. That is a massive freaking cat. Like the Sench rot are employed as steeds, often in battle, where they earn the title battle cats from the Imperial troopers. Now, there is a lore book in ESO, in elsewhere, where there is a Sench rot that is pleading for the rest of society to understand that they are just like everybody else and intelligent as well. They're not just battle cats.
Man, I love the Centrot. I love them.
Yes, They're awesome.
I love them so bad.
I love my mount too because I spent a crap load of crowns making him fast.
Did you max him out already?
No, he's like 40. I think he's at 42.
42.
Yeah, he can run fast.
They look better when you have the higher speed. There was someone talking about that in guild chat the other day. They feel like when you first get the Centrot, if you pre-ordered the collector's edition, you get that mount. It feels like he wants to run fast, but it's just super slow motion. But like he looks real like jacked up when he's running. But the faster you get him going, it's looks a lot better.
It looks, yeah, the animation looks way better. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the main. You will encounter this in elsewhere. It's just part of their culture. The Maine is a very unique breed of Khajiit. Maines are only born under a very rare alignment of Maser and Secunda. This alignment occurs when Maser and Secunda are completely covering each other, which is basically an eclipse in our world. During this alignment, according to legend, a third moon appears. Just kind of looks like that, but the two moons are together. Khajiit are not that smart. Okay.
I was waiting to see what you'd say.
Only one Maine can be alive at any one time, and it's believed that the same Maine is reborn again and again into different bodies. That's just lore of the Maine. More than one Maine has never contended for power at any one time. This may be due to the truth in the traditional Khajiiti belief, or that one Maine destroys all of its potential rivals. Yeah. You're going to like this part. Got a little story to tell about this part. I'll get there. The language of the Khajiit. The Khajiiti language is known as Ta'agra. The actual word Khajiit is formed of the Ta'agra words for Kaj and Eat, which literally means one who deserts. Now, this does not mean one who leaves or abandons. This is a literal meaning of desert. In this case, desert. A dry, barren area of land, especially one covered with sand that is characteristically desolate, waterless, and without vegetation. So it means one who deserts. Here's some useful Ta'agra words. I'll get to the story, don't worry. Ja in Ta'agra means coins, which of course is an integral part of Khajiiti culture. Jacage is the lunar lattice. Jemath is moon sugar. And then there's Jekosit, a Khajiiti insult, sometimes thought to mean jackass.
So you gotta tell them what you wrote into your little storyline at the end?
I'm absolutely going to, and nobody ever caught it, which blows my freaking mind apart. Anyway, in our very first storyline, if you've listened to it, you may remember that we had a certain character played by one of our good friends, Nara, and her character was a Khajiit that we met, and she referred to Jibs as Jekosit every single time she talked to him. He never figured it out. He never looked it up. But basically, Jekosit means jackass. And he never figured it out until recently, which I thought was hilarious. So anyway,
you have uncontrollable bowels tomorrow.
Oh my god, dude. That's my little joke.
Anyway,
so what's the deal with moon sugar? Let's talk about it a little bit. Moon sugar is the holiest of substances known to the Khajiit, and they understand moon sugar literally to be crystallized moonlight that was caught in the water of the Topal Sea and delivered to the sugarcane groves by the tides. It's freaking heroin, people. A substance can drive Khajiit into fits of ecstasy and abandon and put them into shivering sugar fits. Yeah. Moon sugar is considered a drug and is illegal in Olive Tamriel and often smuggled for profit. Now, A fun fact about moon sugar is that it can be refined into a more potent and addictive form known as skooma, or Tamriel's equivalent of heroin. It's not so bad.
As you say,
So
it,
much.
all bug-eyed.
I know. It's terrible. Don't do it. Anyway. Moon sugar is also used as a seasoning, which I freaking love. Like people sprinkle heroin into their food. And an alchemical ingredient. It has an analgesic and soporific
What?
effects. I did not look up soporific. Do it yourself. Making its users both happy and stupid. Kind of like your two podcast hosts at the moment. Khajiit commonly have a very strong sweet tooth, and moon sugar is used as a spice in almost every single dish found in elsewhere. I thought that was funny.
I didn't realize they were that into. I mean, I knew they were into it, like pretty heavy, but I didn't realize they sprinkled it on their food and all that. Like that's
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's criminal. But whatever. Hey, whatever you're
We
gonna
should
do.
get into smuggling that.
That's a trap. We should. No matter how you felt about the Khajiit in the past, I know there's some haters out there. You cannot help but play elsewhere and fall in love with the Khajiit. There's like no way. They're freaking awesome. They're not like Argonians. They're super easy to hate. I mean, they poop all over the place. They walk in it. Anyway, the Khajiit are like extremely fun-loving. They're jovial. They have like a super positive outlook on life no matter what, which is something that we can all replicate in our world. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Yeah.
But they're funny. They're nonsensical. Some of the things they say, their love and passion for each other.
Yep.
It's incredible. So, and look, I know this is a game, right? I get it. But just freaking love them. They are so funny and fun. And now I play a crap load of them, and I love them as much as I love the Bosmer over this past probably 6 months. I'm like, dude, Khajiit are rad. So anyway.
I agree.
Where we're at.
Yeah, and Elsewhere did an excellent job, like Cash said earlier in the show, embodying and representing the Khajiit in their best and truest form. Not only how they've been treated previously, but how they choose to treat other races. You really see that in the game, and they did a really good job. Good job, man. That was fun.
Thanks, man. I'm glad you liked it. I knew it was a little bit longer of a lore lesson, but I kind of wanted to dive into it real deep. So we have a basis to work off of when people mention, the lunar lattice, or they mention moon sugar, where it comes from, or Shekozit.
Right.
You know what it means.
Right. No, it's actually really, really good that you did that, because a lot of those terms, you're going to see in Elsewhere. And if you want to read these for yourself, this lore lesson will be up at loreseekerspodcast.com in its textual form. So you can sit there and, the nitty-gritty. But anyway, so that is it. My friends, we're bringing Mailbag back next week. So you look forward to that. But anyway, we hope you enjoyed listening to the Lore Seekers podcast this week. We're so happy to be back and just be here chatting with you. We hope you had a good time. Hope you enjoyed the laughs. And if you did, we want to hear from you. For every 5-star review that we get on iTunes, we show you some love on the show. And we have one here from Spanky1991. I love that name. That's from the USA. They say Jibs and Cash have created something special here. Not only is it an amazing podcast, it's an amazing experience. From episodes that are filled with lore to a guild that is friendly, fun, and supportive, Lore Seekers constantly out-surpasses every expectation. Spanky Atkins, a.k.a. K. Borsnarl. Thank you.
Those are actually some really cool names.
That's some really in-depth names. Yeah, right on. Thank you very much. We really appreciate that.
Thank you for the kind words. That's really cool.
It is awesome. You can call us 765-382-6961. Leave us your voicemails. Try to keep around a minute or less, and we'll keep it the chance we'll put
People,
it in the mailbag.
you need to freaking send us some voicemails. We haven't had one in a while. I mean, I'm being real. Send us a voicemail. Ask some questions.
Nostrils are flaring again.
I know. Shigorath. ask us some questions. I want to answer them. I want to hear your lovely voices. We want to put your lovely voices on the show.
I want to hear you. Yeah, talk to me.
Talk to me, please.
Talk to me. 765-382-6961. You can also email us, loreseekerspodcast@gmail.com. Now, if you're looking to join our guild, you want to know more about us, visit loreseekerspodcast.com/guild. Read all the nitty gritty there, tell you a little bit more, get a better understanding. We're in the process of actually updating that page as well to give you an even clearer version of what you can expect when you join Loreseekers. I said Loreseekers. But anyway, download Discord, join the server, type /apply in the Apply to Guild channel. You can find this show wherever podcasts are free, so be sure and subscribe. That way you get your episodes for free. Automatically. Every time one drops, whether it's a new side quest, a new episode of Loreseekers, and a new something else, if that ever happens, they'll be right there on your device. Cash, where can they find us?
You can find us on Twitter. You can find Jibs at JibsIRL. You can find Cash at Loreseeker Cash. The Cash is with a K. And most importantly, you can find the show on Twitter at LoreseekersCast. On Instagram, you can find us at Loreseekers, and on Twitch, if you're not already here, twitch.tv/LoreseekersPodcast.
There you go. Well, it's sad to say it's already over. It felt like it flew by, But anyway, hey, we'll be back next week, and it's going to be a good time. Console, Elsewhere's coming. Get excited. We're stoked for you. Everybody stay safe. Stay awesome. We love you so much. Thanks for listening. Thanks for your support. It really means everything. Have a good week.
Dilly freaking dilly. Oh, storyline's coming up. It's a long one. Enjoy.
And cut. Good job, everybody.
Damn, sucker! I had to spend an hour and a half with you. That's a long ass show.
That was long. Thanks, everybody. Everybody
Oh my
in chat.
God, chat. I love you all. I was laughing and following what you were saying, and I couldn't respond.
Oh,
But I love you.
you all were awesome. I gotta save this real quick before I think about it. Chat, seriously, thank you all very much. We really appreciate you being here. Mac Attack, thanks so much for the host. Dr. Dadglad for the follow, for the tier 1 sub. We also got Bellicard for the follow. Dade with the 2 months Prime sub. We appreciate it. Shasta,
Thank you guys.
thanks so much for the Prime sub for 3 months. That's awesome. Look at you. You're getting up there. You're going to get yourself some cool looking emblems here soon. Drunken Sloth Style, thanks so much for the surprise
Yes,
sub.
that is exactly how I feel right now because I'm buzzed AF right now.
Redbeard
shit.
Howard, thanks for the follow. And Rob A, thanks so much for the follow.
Oh, After Dark soon. Miss Von Jamestown wants an After Dark soon. Shall we?
You don't you have? I thought you had something you had to do.
I have like an hour and a half until my wife gets home. You want to stream?
Kinda.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Kinda do. Yeah. All right. Stream. So here's the dealio. We're gonna bring this down, and we're gonna bring it back up. I gotta check on the fam though. And then
Yeah.
we'll do.
No, probably 10. I'd say what, 10, 15 minutes?
Let's say 10. Let's do a solid 10.
I got to shove some some food down my throat.
Okay. All right. Stream.
Yeah.
We'll be back in 10 minutes. Okay? Tell your friends, tell your wife, tell your husband, tell your kids. I don't know. We'll be back.
See you soon.